Look, there's a lot of us are innately inhuman in our being. We're very quick to judge. We're very hateful people. We're very toxic people. And I'm noticing this a lot more as more and more people go on social media. We feel like our inner selves are coming out because we feel more free to express ourselves. But in this is revealing how hateful we really are at times, how bigoted we are, and this applies to all of us. But it's important to recognize that we are a smaller part of a bigger picture. And a lot of people in the comments like, what's wrong with bigotry? We're just stardust, Mike. We're just matter in motion. Yes, we are matter in motion, but that's the part that makes us understand the preciousness of our lives. That's what makes it incredible to be alive, because we're matter in motion, because we're just stardust. So, but a lot of us are afraid of the dark. A lot of us are afraid of what's out there. Not just the darkness, but also what's possible. You know, a lot of us are afraid of the fact that we might just be stardust. That we might just be meaningless in all this, right? People feels the need, the want to project themselves into nature, onto nature, and they want to say that they are the ones who the universe is made for, right? The universe is made for us, and we are special in all this. We're afraid of what we might find out there in the darkness, in all this vast darkness that we don't understand. It's mysterious to us, right? We want to so badly act as if there's somebody out there that cares about us, what we do, right? Somebody out there that is gonna, help us, take care of us. That we tell ourselves the universe was tuned for us, right? It was tuned for us. Just think about these statements we're making. Right? Think about the statements we are making when we say the universe was tuned for us. That the entire existence of all reality was tuned so that we could be here. I mean, look at how arrogant that is. And we also tell ourselves that there's some kind of purpose out there waiting for us, right? Or that the purpose is out there to be given to us, that we are privileged enough to have the purpose, to be the purpose of the universe. We're the reason the universe exists, we tell ourselves. And again, that's another expression of our arrogance, our ego, right? It's just bubbling up. And since it's inside of us, it's inside of all of us to be egotistical in some degree, to be selfish. And that's human nature. But we also have to remember the bigger picture, right? So it's also important to let this picture sink in sometimes. Really look at it, because we tend to forget. We tend to forget when we bask ourselves in our little bubbles, our little worlds where we are the most important things. We forget to look at the bigger picture, and this is often what we shun away. We shun away the bigger picture because we don't want to be insignificant. We don't want to be insignificant. We don't want to be matter in motion. But for those of us who have the courage to step into this dark, right? For those of us who have the courage to step in there, we put aside those expectations, right? Put aside all those expectations for what the universe we think has in store for us. We put that all aside, and a new perspective emerges. A world that isn't sugar-coated anymore, right? It's just the world. It's just stuff. It's just existence. And it's no longer that we are here for it or that we are a required piece of the puzzle, but it just is. And we, for the first time, when we let go of that ego, when we put the ego away for a second, we finally are able to extract more from the world. We're able to see more about the world that we could never have seen before. We see, a universe full of richness, full of incredible things, full of wonder. A universe 90 billion light years across. Countless stars, right? More stars out there than grains of sand on all the beaches of the earth combined. Countless exotic worlds, right? More wondrous than even our wildest imaginations. Strange exotic matter that, lurks in the crooks and crannies of galaxies, called dark matter, that holds us together. These weird anomalies in the universe that we're discovering, right? These strange particles that exist in two different states at one time. It's so counterintuitive to us. It just boggles the mind. It doesn't make sense. And that perspective can only be achieved when you put aside your ego, right? When you put aside your ego, you can only see the counterintuitiveness of nature when you look and peek at the darkness, peek into it. And because we want so bad for the universe to make sense to us, but it doesn't. And you can only understand that when you stop pretending it must be you that is part of it, that is integral to the universe. And you put that ego aside, you finally see a new perspective. And it only benefits you from there on. You begin to, when you begin to accept that there are strange truths out there that defy our intuitions, right? When you accept the truths, no matter where they lie, instead of just looking for them where you seem fit. When you start accepting the truth and facts about the world that are counterintuitive, no matter what they are, no matter where they are, that's when you finally begin to appreciate things more. You begin to appreciate the things you do have. The little light we do have, right? We have very little knowledge about the world around us. The world is vastly mysterious, way more mysterious than we know. So, when you are from the perspective of somebody in the darkness, in the unknown, when you welcome the unknown instead of shunning it away and saying, no, it must be God, it must be God. When you welcome the unknown and you bask in it, you begin to befriend the unknown. In this process, you begin to appreciate the known, the little known you have, right? The little light you have. And we use, analogously, science. Science is a little candle we have that we use to walk into the darkness. Science illuminates parts of the universe at a time, like a puzzle. So, from this perspective, this cosmic perspective, you begin to accept, yeah, we are just apes on a rock. We are apes on a rock. This little pale blue rock dot. We are just matter in motion. There is no given or apparent purpose for our existence. We just exist, Our thoughts are not fully under our control. We're not fully free in many regards. We are just parasitic to the environment. We're just people, right? Seemingly completely insignificant to the rest of the universe. But from this other perspective, where this is what we are, when you finally accept the fact that this is all we are, right? It seems sad and depressing from a religious point of view. It seems sad because you're like, oh, that's devoid of meaning. Where's my meaning? I get my meaning from God. God must give me meaning. But do you really, ask yourself, do you really want, is that really meaning? To be told that your purpose is to do this or that, or to be a worshiper. That's not purpose. That's an order you're given by your master. That's not true purpose, right? To me. Of all the things in the universe, to think that of all the potential that you see from this new scientific perspective, with all the potential that's out there, right? Nuclear fusion and digital immortality and space travel and wormholes and black holes and all these magnificent things in the universe that are within our grasp that can be utilized by us. You're telling me that the only reason why we exist is to worship some magic wizard that's watching from afar? And, I think that's absurd. I think that when you achieve this new perspective, when you recognize the fragility of that dot, when you let it sink in, when you really accept it, and that takes a lot of courage. It does. That's why a lot of people don't want to go there. We don't want to go there because we don't want to accept that the universe is just a thing that exists and it doesn't have some intrinsic meaning in store for us. We don't want to accept that most of the time. Our egos won't allow it. But when we do, well, if we did, once we do, everything becomes more appreciated by you, because now you appreciate what little you have and what little you know. And that can't be achieved from a religious perspective. You can't achieve this by keeping on the God goggles. Everything's God, and God has a purpose for us, and the only reason why we're here is God, to appease God. That is such a limiting perspective that even if you believe it, just for a second, take off those God goggles, right? And look at look at another perspective that doesn't have the God filter, right? And a perspective that doesn't impose. It's not imposing ourselves onto the universe, right? When you finally recognize that perspective, the world becomes a much more enriching place, right? Because now you've realized how delicate we are, how fragile we are, how delicate our existence is, that we could die in mere moments. I mean, look at how much suffering there is in the world. Look at how delicate we are as beings, as flimsy biological apes. We are very fragile as an existent. I mean, just look around you. Look at how hard and difficult it is to survive and experience things. Look at how rare we are and finite we are. We get a measly 80 years, this larger cosmic expanse, right? This at least 13, 14 billion years of existence, and we've only been here for 70, 80 years max. That is a cosmic perspective, right? Because now you cherish those 80 years. I mean, yeah, we're not going to be here forever. We don't have an afterlife, but look at what we have. Look how finite it is. Look how rare it is. Look how precious that it becomes. You now look at things differently. You look at your family differently. Wow, my family, they're rare. They're not going to be here ever again, and that's the only family I'll get. I will never see them again after I die, and that makes you want to hug them and squeeze them harder and tell them I love them more every time you see them, because you want to embrace the delicacy. You want to embrace that finite existence so much more. It becomes way more valuable to you. in a way that you just can't see from a religious point of view. You know? And yeah, we find ourselves in the universe where there is no assigned purpose to us. Nobody's out there assigning us purpose, telling us, well, you're here to be a worshiper, you're here to appease me. But we find that now we can make our own purpose. We can generate our own purpose. It emanates from the things we do, right? From the people you love, the things we achieve, the people you help, right? Helping people gives me purpose. And what do you mean by purpose? Well, purpose means something that you really, really admire, something you really value. And we can achieve that without God. We don't need religion for that. So, to me, not only can we achieve great purpose without God, without religion, but it even goes a step further. Because on top of the purpose we can achieve, we find that the purpose we do create is much more valuable because of how finite we are, how rare and delicate our existence is. That we don't get an afterlife. The fact that we don't get an afterlife makes the things we do in this life way more valuable. Way more valuable. And so in this process, right, in this new perspective, this cosmic perspective, it encapsulates all of that, all things that you know, right? It infiltrates it. It seeps into all aspects of your life and collectively enriches it. It enhances your way of seeing people and the world and the earth and yourself and your life and your career and your spouse and your family and your friends and everything you do, right? And every step into the darkness, every time you go further into the darkness, every discovery you make becomes a new hope for what's possible, right? So now when you discover things like when we go into space, right? When we go to the moon, when we go to Mars, when we look at this pale blue dot picture from Voyager, right? When you reach out into space, into the universe around you, you discover things that you never had before, and because of that, you gain you gain more hope for things, because now you're saying, wait a minute, now look what I can do. Look what I can do. Look at what's possible. Look at time travel and wormholes and black holes and quantum entanglement and all these weird, quirky features of the universe that you can take advantage of for the betterment of all. You know, cures to cancer, cures to diseases, vaccines, and all these amazing inventions that have aided our humanity. So now every time you do science, you gain even more hope, more love for the universe, love for the cosmos, love for people, less bigotry, less hatred. All that stuff kind of just dissolves away when you look at things from this perspective. Each and every time we're reminded of how fragile and delicate we are. Every time we reach out in the universe, in the cosmos, we are reminded again of how fragile we are. And that further enhances it, right? This is a feedback loop of just appreciation for the cosmos. And that's how I feel. This is how I really feel. And I don't need religion for this. I don't need God for this. I don't need any of that stuff. And I appreciate things more and more. And no matter this is why no matter the medium in which we exist, right? People, religious often say, well, you're just matter and motion, Mike. Why does this matter? Because that's what we are. That's why it matters. Because we're matter and motion, right? No matter the medium in which we exist, whether it's stardust or not, or whatever the medium in which we exist, we still are experiencing. Look at what this stardust can do. Look at what this matter in motion can yield. Thinking, talking, experiencing beings who can love, who can do great things. Each and every one of us. Yes, you're all matter in motion. But look at what we are. And it's more valuable because there is no God, because there is nobody designing us. That makes it all that more incredible, that there's nobody designing us, that we happen to be the result of billions of years of various chemical, biological processes that ended up yielding us. That's incredible. That makes me want to scream with joy and happiness and tell this to everybody I know. Because it is all that more exciting. If there is no God, if we are just here in this universe alone, experiencing for this random sliver of time and space, that makes it all much more amazing. And this applies to every aspect of my life. Through science, through the scientific perspective, this appreciation has spilled over into every aspect of my life. And as we continue searching out there, in this dark, mysterious place where we don't have much answers, in all this vastness, all we have is each other. You begin to realize that's all we got. And all the vastness is only bearable through love. Right? In all this darkness and mystery and vastness, the way through it is through love. Not through this petty anger and petty fighting and bigotry and homophobia and racism and all that stuff. I mean, look, from this perspective, all that now makes more sense. How petty. It all seems so dwarfed by this perspective, right? Think of racism. What it really means from a scientific perspective is one pigmented being thinks another pigmentating being is not worthy on this little dot. Or how about war, right? They're fighting in Gaza for the land, right? They're fighting for what? 1 pixel? They're fighting for 1 pixel. They're going to war. They're killing innocent people and children for 1 pixel. All this seems ridiculous from a scientific perspective. And look, I'm not saying that I know all the answers, but what I'm saying is maybe it's worth it to take off your God goggles for a second and look at the bigger picture. Look at things from a different perspective. Maybe look into the dark, right? We all shun it away. We don't like it. Maybe look into it. And, we ask ourselves a lot too, why do we exist? Why are we here? When we ask why, it assumes and implies that there's a reason why we are here versus everything else. Maybe there is no reason why intrinsically. But if we crave purpose, if we crave a reason why we exist, why not make one? Why not we make one? Why does it have to come from somewhere else? Why do we have to look out there for purpose? Why can't we make it here? We can make it. if you want there to be a reason why we exist, then go help somebody. Go do something great. Go make someone else's life fantastic. Make your life great. Make their life great. Do something important. Do something worthy. Why do we keep asking ourselves, well, why are we here? Or it must be God, right? No. Maybe instead of asking why we exist, maybe do something that that allows you to stop asking that question, why we exist. You really just do it. Just do it. Just let it ooze from you, your purpose. Don't wait for it. Do it. Make it. And look, guys, this is something that you can't tell somebody. You can't just tell somebody, hey, stop it. Stop believing in God. You can't do that. It's impossible. But this is why I do this. I mean, this is why, yeah, I debate. But I don't care about that nonsense. I don't care about philosophy. I care about people asking questions. People asking a little bit harder questions that they wouldn't otherwise have asked themselves. And I think in this process, a better world emerges. A more peaceful, tolerant, loving, free world emerges. When we embrace this bigger perspective, when we take away those God goggles for a second, take them off. Everything else becomes dwarfed. All this little petty stuff, you begin to see how petty it is. And so, when people tell me, Mike, you're an atheist, that you have no meaning, I laugh. The opposite is true. I don't see meaning in religion that much. I mean, sure, there's value in religion, but I don't get my meaning from religion. That's meaningless. I get my meaning from the people around me, the things I do, the value I provide. That gives me meaning in my life. And it could be something as small as just being able to breathe. That gives me meaning, right? That the small things are all included in this, right? From my perspective, I look at everything, every little thing in the world, every atom, and it becomes this world of wonders that you just appreciate. Every atom of water that I drink, every thing becomes meaningful to me when you begin to see things from a cosmic perspective, because you realize what we are. People you love, your family, friends. It could be the bed you're sitting on, the bed you sleep on at night, the house you have, the room you have. Right? Just you see things differently. And that's why, from my perspective, it's religion seems to be a scam, because religion sucks away all that beauty from the world. It tells you that when you pretend you're the reason why the universe exists, when you tell yourself that you're the reason why God made us, we're here for God's purpose, when you tell yourself this, you begin to miss out all the small things that truly matter, truly can matter to you. You begin to miss out on all the small things that actually have a lot of meaning. God's design. The world is more greater because it's not designed. The world is more amazing because it's not designed. If you think of Picasso, right? Why is Picasso a great artist? He makes great designs. He makes amazing designs. If Picasso created a stick figure, anybody can do that. So the point is, Picasso has a lot of potential in his ability to paint. So him producing a stick figure is something a child can do. And this is analogous to what God is like, right? God is like Picasso, but infinitely more powerful and in terms of ability. So no matter how great you think the world is, it could be greater. God could have done greater. But imagine that same stick figure that Picasso created. Imagine if that stick figure was drawn in the sand. Or imagine walking along a beach and seeing that stick figure being kind of like drawn by a wave that rolls by. Well, now that is something amazing that even nature itself, or even the simple laws of physics, can generate something such as a stick figure in the sand. That is something remarkable. The same stick figure that a child can produce. But that stick figure now becomes all that more amazing because it wasn't designed. Because it's the product of processes that happen to make it. And that's how I see the universe. I see the universe as this temporary arrangement of particles that happen to be this way. And because of that, I mean, we give it so much. We tell ourselves it's a beautiful, amazing world, but it's all that more amazing because it wasn't designed. Because the fact that our configuration of particles are this way because of a series of processes that stem all the way back to the Big Bang. That is way more incredible. What we are is way more incredible because there is nobody designing it. It's just nature at work. And yes, it could have been in a different way, but the way we have it is incredible because it's incredible to us that we get to experience it. That's a way more healthy way of seeing the world instead of saying, oh yeah, look how great it is, God's design. It's clearly designed. Well, that's just you. You're right to say that in terms of you expressing your gratitude for the world around you, expressing your how attractive it is to you aesthetically. But you're missing out. The moment you say God did it, you're missing out on nature doing it, on sheer probability doing that. Because there's something that God can't do in all of its power. What God can't do is beat sheer probability. God can't do that. God cannot compete with the probabilistic nature of reality. God cannot compete with that, right? Because you're saying what? Well, because even the theist says, oh, Mike, you think we got here by chance? That's impossible. Even the theist thinks it's impossible for us to be, arisen by chance. But look at what if we were. If we were, that makes it even greater than God by your own concession, by the own theist's concession. They think it's more unlikely that we are here by chance because it must be a God, right? You're saying, oh, it can't be chance, it must be God. Look at how your mindset is, right? You're conceding in that statement that it's too improbable that it came by about nature-wise. But if it did, that would make it, by your own logic, more incredible than God. Because that's what God can't do. God cannot compete with sheer probability. He can't. God is an agent. He has a reason. He has intentions. He has designed certain things for certain reasons, by your logic. But if we are the sheer products of probability, that makes it even more incredible than God. Because God can't do that. Only nature can. And that's why I think nature is, the naturalistic approach is all that more exciting. I think you're missing out as a theist of what nature can do. So I just want to share with you my perspective.